Hi there, Dave and Beth Nicodemus here from Beyond the Walls Church, and we are recording our Messy Spirituality virtual Bible study video, and we are on chapter 4 for this week. And chapter 4 deals a lot with rejection. In fact, the title of the chapter is The Ugliness of Rejection. And I don't know about you, but there have been many times in my life where I have felt very rejected, whether that was being picked last for a sports game or not being picked at all for something, where you just feel like you're unworthy, or perhaps it's something that you've done that other people look at and they've heard about it or they remember it, and because of that, they say you're not allowed, you cannot join in, and that's just some of the rejection that I've dealt with, and probably all of us have to some extent.
One thing that really stood out about this chapter is it's talking about your past and how Jesus liberates and frees us from those things from long ago. And so I wanted to read this one line at the end that says, "A sad reality of modern life is the increasing number of people whose past abuse has convinced them of their unworthiness." And it brings me back to a time in my life where I just felt so unworthy. And what I didn't realize is that I had a lot of wounding that hadn't been healed. And God gave me a really cool gift. He gave me the gift of a dream. And in my dream, at the time I was running, so I was out running in my dream, and my ankle started to hurt about halfway through the run. And in my dream, I came back home and thought I better check on this. And I looked, and on the side of my ankle was a hole. And I looked inside this hole, and the inside of my foot was hollowed out, and it was black and oozing. And I went to the doctor. I was so concerned about my foot, and the doctor, the great physician, said, "It is bad. Your wound is bad, but it's going to be healed. It's just going to take time." And I knew God was speaking to me and telling me that He was with me, that He would heal me from those past wounds. But it is a journey, and it does take time.
I also enjoy that this chapter deals a lot with the pretty famous Bible story from the book of John, where Jesus is confronted by a woman at a well. And this woman is a Samaritan woman. And if you know a little bit about the history of Samaritans and Jews, one, Jewish people would not be talking to a Samaritan at all, and especially a Jewish man would never be talking to a Samaritan woman, and a Jewish rabbi, which Jesus was, a teacher, would never ever be talking to a Samaritan woman. And so for Jesus to initiate this conversation with this woman, and then we learn that this woman isn't just a Samaritan woman and he's a Jewish rabbi, and that, of course, that would never work for you to have a conversation. She's a woman who's rejected by even her own culture. She's a Samaritan woman that's coming to the well at a time of the day when no other women will be there, because she doesn't want their ridicule and rejection. And Jesus asks her for a drink of water, and it ends up turning into a conversation where Jesus said, "If you would ask me, I would give you living water." And the woman is intrigued by this, and then Jesus reveals that He knows exactly who she is. He knows her past, and her past was rather colorful, especially for that time period. She had had 5 husbands, and the man she's living with is not her husband, which in that day and age would be incredibly scandalous. And here's Jesus, but He doesn't use that truth that He reveals to her to put her down, to make her feel bad. He uses it to let her know, yeah, that's your past, but I don't reject you. Instead, I do want to give you living water. And I've actually preached on this text before, and one of the examples I used was I had a cup, and I showed the cup to be empty and talked about, this is us a lot of times. We are running on empty, and yet we're craving, we're thirsty. And I said, and this is Jesus, and I brought this pitcher of water, and I said, when Jesus gives us living water, He doesn't just put a little bit in the cup and say, now do your best to keep it in there. He overflows it, and it just keeps coming. His blessings keep coming. Yeah, He knows our past. He knows us perfectly, and yet here He is saying, I love you, and I want you to follow me.
So we hope you enjoyed this chapter. We'll move on to chapter 5 here next week, but thank you for joining us, and have a great day.
God bless you.